So let's add in some bass to this track. And we are actually leaving this drums group and right click, create a new MIDI track and load up an instance of Massive. So go to plugins, Massive, VST, and load it up here. And now we are going to our course folder, melodic techno files, or wherever you've put it. Select Massive Bass 1. If we go to the synth view, we can see we are playing a square to saw wave here at 2 octaves lower than C3, and we are applying a DAF filter on top. So let's play this solo, bring down the level here. So this is how we play it, and we will process it a little bit further. First, draw in some MIDI information and create 2 bars of MIDI. So 1, 2. Right click, insert MIDI clip, rename it to bass. Actually, I kind of like playing my bass blue as well. So putting it to blue and bass. Okay, kick could play along as well, just to have a control measure. Alright, let's go in here and hit in some notes. You could also use your push device or something, but I kind of want to click them in here now. Let's go down to D sharp. Actually activate this guy. And pick a lower velocity here. So we want to pick something like 54. And we are starting at, actually let's start at 112 here. So if we set the measures to 16th notes, what we see is this. And now we want to put another 16th note here. Be sure to listen on good headphones or sub-speakers. And let's delay this one a tiny little bit. To play a bit off grid here. That's nice. Okay. And put another one here. So we are at 1.2.3 and 1.3.2. So drag those guys a bit longer. And this one as well. Let's bring this down a bit here. It's actually not good. It has a clicky element here. Nice. Now the second bar, let's copy everything and place it here. Get rid of the second note and drag this one longer. And those a bit longer too. Actually, this one a bit shorter. So this is our basic bass pattern. Let's play it all together. This is already getting groovy now. Now there are so many possibilities of placing your bass patterns, but I find this one is kind of groovy. because we're not doing the obvious thing. We are not placing a bass on the 1 or in the offbeat positions, but, well, this one is in an offbeat position, but we're leaving a bit of room, we are leaving a bit of air, and we are not hitting too hard on every first measure. Okay, of course we need a sidechain now. So let's look for a compressor, drag it behind massive, open it up, sidechain from our sidechain trigger here, bring down the threshold, -40 easily, and ratio up. Yeah, let's keep it like this. We also have those sort of tom elements here. They're not really interfering, but if we were to play them in a different position later, we need to sidechain that thing as well. So I'm duplicating the sidechain. I'm also sidechaining to this tom element here. So audio from tom-tom, not that heavy, ratio up a little bit, and threshold up a little bit as well. Okay, let's put on an EQ here, EQ 8. Bring it down a little bit here. And now I want to emphasize a little bit in this area here, but Q. If we are working with speakers like laptop speakers, we still want to get a bit more of this bass. So I'm increasing the EQ a bit here. And low cut a bit more like this. Look at the shape. So we are at 50 Hertz at 75 Q, and then we are at, oh, we are at 200. Let's bring that down. Oh, that was number 5. Okay, so we are at 150 here. Okay, and bring up the mids a little bit. Maybe we leave them down here, and let's take a look at, let's see what we can do here. There's really not much we can do. And in the upper parts, we want to play other elements. And also I want to add in a clicky support for that kick. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in a high shelf now, and I'm rolling it off here because it's rather a sub bass. And now also I want to be sure we are remaining mono with this bass. For that purpose, I'm dragging on a utility and putting the width down to 0. And thereby I turn the signal completely to mono. And you see there's almost no difference. For your ear below those 100 Hertz, mainly in those frequencies, you perceive everything mono, so it doesn't really make a difference. So we just be sure we don't add in audio information nobody can hear anyways. All right, and let's quickly copy that thing to add in a clicky top part. So duplicate the massive bass and go to the core samples and select a sample called BD Click and drag it over massive so it will create a simpler device and call it bass click and recolor it to a lighter version of the blue. Ratio of the sidechain. So what the hell is going on here? We're playing the same MIDI information, but bring down the sustain. And transpose it up 5 semitones. And sidechain up a little bit, -20. Deactivating this one for now. And let's go into the EQ. Actually keep it mono as well here with the utility, but the EQ goes up a bit. And we're taking this away. We're moving here more or less to 190 with the first low cut and to something around 2K with the high cut. Play them together. A bit less decay. A little bit quieter. Okay, let's play together with the kick. Okay, maybe a bit more decay. Play it in the mix. Bring it down a bit more. Bring it down to -20. Okay, so now we have our first bass sound here. It will be heavily used in drop parts, but also as foundation for the entire song. And we used massive. We took in the patch created for this bass. Then we used a heavy sidechain with an infinite ratio to really push that bass away whenever needed. And then we also sidechained it to our tom sound to be sure whenever that's playing, we are ducking the bass. And we made sure we are emphasizing a bit on frequencies around 150 and cut off some of the higher frequencies here because we want to leave room for other instruments. Then we made sure the bass is only playing in mono down here. And let's look at the bass click sound. So we have this clicky bass sample and it's also sidechained to the kick, even if the ratio isn't that heavy. And we are also playing this mono and we're making sure to leave room for the bass down here and move that up a bit further, but we are also leaving room for more hi-hat elements here.